Oh, what's going on, everybody? This is fresh after the Wilder and Fury 3 fight. Okay. First off, I was trying to wait and see if Wilder would give us a post-fight interview. He wasn't at the press conference, the post-fight press conference. I hope he's okay mentally and physically. Okay. I saw that Tyson Fury was doing an interview. I will watch everything probably in the morning before jumping on live. Okay, we're going to discuss this all week. All right, because this fight, this win means a lot. All right. First off, I want to thank both Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder for giving us a classic. All right. All three fights gave us a lot, and it makes me, I really wish boxing was consistent, because if boxing was more consistent with stuff like what happened tonight, it would be the greatest sport in the world like it used to be back in the day. The fight that we got tonight was by far the greatest fight that I ever was able to cover live on this YouTube channel. I've covered a lot of fights. I've done live commentary, and I've been hyped and geeked and excited for, many fights and stuff like that. But this fight it did it for me. It did everything, gave me everything that I wanted. We got drama. There was times where I thought Wilder was finished. There was times where I thought Fury was finished, and it gave me everything that I was looking for. One thing that I said going into this fight was that I was just hoping. I didn't care who won the fight. I just wanted the fight to be fair. I didn't want the fight to have any weird judging. I didn't want the fight to have any weird injuries that would cause the fight to end. I didn't want it to be any disqualifications. I didn't want it to be any headbutts or anything that's weird, like somebody slips and fall. One of those weird things that happen in every boxing fight every once in a while, whatever. So I was hoping that we can end this trilogy tonight fairly, where we can okay, the victor was clearly the winner, and we can move on from this. I didn't care who won. I've said this multiple times on here. All right. I put a lot of time and effort into making content this week, not only just this week, and just in this trilogy overall. Okay. I rewatched both fights countless times. I put in a lot of hours in just trying to decide or to figure out where I was going with the fight, especially this last one. I did my best to take my feelings and what is said to me constantly in these YouTube comments and stuff like that. I take that away out of it. When it's time for me to do a breakdown, I don't get my personal feelings involved. Okay, it doesn't matter what I feel. Sometimes I feel a way, but I'll tell you guys the complete opposite of what I'm actually feeling. So this breakdown, I did pick Fury to win. I thought it would go to a decision, it almost did, but I felt like Fury was going to win this time around by a stoppage, a late stoppage, or a decision, but I was leaning more towards the decision. I didn't think Wilder was going to get stopped. I thought he was going to find a way to pull it out regardless, and I knew Wilder was going to do better early on in the fight. And the prediction actually went exactly how I thought it would go this time around. Okay, I was wrong in the first two. I did pick Wilder to win the first two, but not this time around. I just felt like Fury, doing the film studying and just seeing how Fury won, I figured that he was gonna come and do what he did. But anyway, regardless, I salute to Deontay Wilder. To both of them really, but the both of them have shown tremendous heart. The first fight was a classic. The second fight was shocking. The third fight made the first fight not even look like a classic. Like what happened in that first fight was doubled this third fight. This fight was not just the fight of the year to me. It was one of the greatest fights that I've seen since I've been covering YouTube. Every other great, especially in the heavyweight division, every other fight that I thought was a classic, this just trumps every single one of those fights. Both fighters showed us a tremendous amount of heart. There was a period where I thought Wilder was done. Okay. There was a period where I thought Fury was done. All right. I was nervous on both ends throughout the fight. I was just watching it and still enjoying it, but I was nervous while watching it too, doing the live commentary and everything. No one should feel ashamed about anything. Seriously. I know this has caused a disruption in the boxing community online and the social media, whether you're on YouTube or Twitter or whatever it is that you use. This has caused a big divide in the YouTube community. But with all that division, I still say that it was worth it, because it gave us everything we needed. It was worth it. Wilder lost, it's over. And, whatever you feel about Glovegate and all of this other things, Wilder lost. It's over. But Wilder showed us tremendous heart. He kept getting up. Even when this fight was stopped by the referee, he still got up. He still got up. He always got up. All right. And you got to respect the guy. All right. You have to. It doesn't matter. You could feel whatever way about him. Listen, I feel my ways about him. I feel more ways about him by some of his fans. But I respect him. Because he was down early in this fight in the same way, in the same fashion in the third round in this fight. And he kept getting up. And not only did he get up this time, but he knocked down Fury twice after he was knocked down himself and hurt. And he fought tired and burned out and gassed out for 11 rounds. I think it was a 10, 11 rounds. This fight went, 11 rounds. He was able to still continue fighting for 11 rounds. I have to give him credit, big credit for doing that. And so is Fury. He showed us a lot of heart because he was down twice, even lost. He was down twice in the fourth round, even lost the fifth round, still unsteady on his legs, and found a way to still drop Wilder 2 more times after that. I have to give Fury his credit too. All right. They both showed tremendous amount of heart. And if you really look at it, all of these top guys over the years, Joshua has showed us tremendous amount of heart, getting stopped, getting knocked down multiple times in fights, and was able to continue getting up and still fighting. He got knocked down against Klitschko. We got a shout out to Klitschko, the older man, getting knocked down by Joshua, coming back older, and was able to fight a younger Joshua, a fresh Joshua, undefeated Joshua, getting dropped, and was able to still come back and drop Joshua, all right, and gave him, a hell until Joshua came back and finished off the fight against, him. You got to give Klitschko credit. You got to give Joshua credit, losing to Andy Ruiz, coming back, winning the rematch, all right, being embarrassed and humiliated in New York and coming back. You got to give these guys heart, and I think, the fans get so extreme, that they just tend to forget that these fighters are giving us a lot every single time they step in there. It doesn't matter how we feel personally about these fighters. At the end of the day, they're still doing stuff that we can't do. I can't go in there and do what these guys did. So you still have to give them credit. It doesn't matter what they say and stuff in the interview. You might not agree with what they said, leading up to a fight. What they just gave us tonight was everything that I love boxing for. I just let's talk about the fight. Wilder came out being very active with his jab. He was attacking the body early, okay, and I'm sure that was a very effective for him and going towards Fury because Fury was very very tired, okay. He was for the most part still pressuring Wilder, but he was gassed too, and it's probably because in those early shots Wilder was throwing right hands to the body continuously, okay. The problem is too bulky. And I didn't like the fact that he weighed 238. I wanted Wilder to come in lighter. All right. I wanted Wilder to be agile. I wanted his conditioning to be good. I wanted his volume to be good. I didn't think the heavier weight would make him punch harder. I kind of wanted him to just be agile and just be able to move and be quick. I wanted his reflexes to be on point. All right. And him coming in heavier, yeah, okay, in the sense that he was stronger and was able to hold Fury up, but it was still burning him, and throwing those punches. You can even tell late in the first round, he looked stiff. And Wilder was never known to be stiff, The reason why he's made it this far wasn't simply off his boxing ability and his technical ability. He has it, and I think people underrate that because he is a Olympian fighter. He's a very experienced fighter. Yeah, he might do things incorrectly. Right, he might not be as technically sound as Tyson Fury or some of the other heavyweights that he beat, but with all that being said, he still made the most out of what he brought to the table. And I think when he came in heavier and stockier, he took away some of that by being heavier. I think if he were to come in light and still have that power and quickness, he would have had dealt with Fury, who was much heavier this time around, better, because he would have just been more agile. He would have been moving more, staying out of danger, those quick step backs, that speed, those reflexes. We didn't get much of that from Wilder because he gave that up once he started bulking up to be stronger, physically stronger. Yes, he was physically stronger, but he looked stiffer in there, When he was throwing lead left hooks, it started to look very stiff and slow, and I think that was an issue. He did the most that he could with his current condition. I thought he did a good job timing Fury's right hand with his own, and that's what caught Fury in that fourth round, right? Timing that right hand and countering Fury with his right hand, okay? Straight down the middle. Like I said, all of this was said in a breakdown that I did. If people get out of their emotions and listen to what I'm actually saying, I'm talking about the fight itself. I know people want to go straight to gloves, spiked water, costumes, all of this stuff, racism. They want to talk about all of these things. But when the bell rings, we got to talk about the actual breakdown, what these two fighters can do to win strategically, not just fanboy shit, That's what we got to get back to, And that's what I did. I did my best. You might not agree with me at that point, at that time, but everything that I said actually literally happened in this fight, I think that when Wilder was pushing forward, and when Wilder was doing a good job timing that right hand, it was good. When he was shooting it from, a short, it was a short right hand, not just the over the top ones, but catching Fury, trading with him. That was the best shots that he threw. But outside of that, Fury did better when he was coming forward. And Wilder just never looked impressive fighting backwards. and he was just too bulky and slow to move out of the way of shots, just like Fury was very bulky and slow, all right, to be as slick as he was in the first fight. They both made sacrifices, and they both were easier to hit in this third fight, right, because they were so heavy. Just like in the second fight, but even more so here. And they also gave away the stamina, but Fury's gas tank was still much better because Fury can gain weight, but Fury is naturally a bigger man. He's fought at these weights before. Okay, so listen, Wilder did a great job. I think that if you're dissing Wilder, you're dissing Fury, because Wilder is still the Fury's best win. I know Fury beat Klitschko, but Wilder is Fury's best win because Wilder was able to drop Fury twice in 2 different fights. All right. Klitschko wasn't able to do that. Klitschko never really gave Fury a great fight, So in my opinion, Wilder was the better fighter in those fights, all right? But Fury proved to be the best, clearly, fairly as well, Fury fairly, clearly won the fight. Let me make that clear to you guys, all right? It's 3 fights. I know there was some glove gate drama that was created earlier or like late last night or whatever. Those videos popped up. Let's make this one thing clear. Fury won the third fight. You can feel whatever way you want to feel about it. Fury won the third fight. Okay? There was a glove issue. Wilder came in with his glove of choice. Fury came up in with his glove of choice, and a better man won. All right. I was looking forward to the both of them to embrace each other. Wilder left the, I don't know, he left the ring. I don't know if he left the arena. Hopefully we can hear from him soon. But that's it. It was a great trilogy. And I love what I saw. It was a back and forth. And I hope Wilder doesn't retire. I would still want Wilder to fight AJ. And I said this, and I'm going to continue saying this because I want to be consistent. If AJ loses to Usyk for a second time, I want AJ and Wilder to fight. Yes. I still want that fight. It's not going to change with me. I don't care if Usyk and Tyson Fury is to go and fight for Undisputed, which is great. Good for them. But if AJ and Wilder just can't get the job done, which Wilder hasn't, all right, and AJ, depending on how he does in a rematch, then let's see that Wilder and AJ fight. Because I still feel that that would still be the best fight. Because that's the fight we wanted for years. And I'm not letting my foot off on that. All right, especially if AJ loses again to Usyk. Now, if AJ fights and beat Usyk, then AJ could go on to fight Fury for Undisputed if he is to beat Dillian White or whoever wins that fight. There's still a lot that needs to happen. But I hope Deontay Wilder doesn't retire because there's still work to be done. That's just my opinion. We'll see. Hopefully his heart is into it. All right. But much respect. There's going to be no disrespect from me. I don't care about how silly and ridiculous some of the fanboys might be. You're not going to hear no disrespect from me. That was 2 warriors in there doing what they had to do to win everything they could. They put it all out on the table. And it was the most entertainment. I'm honored to be able to just even cover the fight. All right. So anyway, that's my views on it. I will be back here tomorrow on live and we can talk more. But I just wanted to do a quick review. Congratulations, Tyson Fury. You are number 1 to me. At this point, you are number 1. You are the number 1 heavyweight right now. You've proven it. I mean, you already were that, but you are legit the number 1 guy. All right. And Usyk is the number 2. All right. So anyway, that's that. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.